All righty. Let's see. Having some issues here. There I am. All right. Awesome. Um, so good evening. I need to turn off my sound on my YouTube. Anyway, good evening, and thank you for joining me today to talk about what's going on in our community. The first thing I'm going to do is we're going to talk about chat rules. No hate speech, derogatory remarks, or spamming. No debates, fighting, or talk of other streams. Please be kind, respect the host, guests, mods, or chatters, and no derailing the main topic, please. We do appreciate you guys being here. And so just needed to go over that. The other thing that I need to get to my comments over here. Oh, hey, Pup Groomer's here. Let me get her set up. I got to find you, Pup. Pup is going to mod for us today. There you are. Let me see if I can figure out how to get that done. Add as moderator. And there you go. Pup, you should have a wrench right now. Thank you for coming and doing this for us, Pup. We appreciate it. All right, to the topic at hand. Back in the day, back when the Three Amigos were still doing their thing, and the Aftermath Foundation was all hunky-dory and all that happened, we as a grassroots group were very friendly towards one another, polite. We worked together on one goal and one goal only, and that was to end Scientology and get people out of it. Well, at some point in that, there's been a weed that's invaded our garden. And what that weed is, I don't know if anybody, some of you know what it is. It's called kudzu. Kudzu grows about a foot a day and will cover and kill anything that it comes in contact with. It's like the blob. So that started happening. We started seeing it in the what used to be called the SPTV, the Discord. And then the stuff happened with Mike Render and Aaron on the Aftermath. William Goo joined us, which was wonderful. He brought in all kinds of eyes. A lot of people got involved. But then we started having some differences of personalities and differences of ways to protest. And the Naughty Never Ends broke up, and some sort of discord, using a word that we all know, started happening within the community. And it's gotten worse and worse. And now we've lost sight of what our original goal was. People are starting to not stream, people that we know and love. People are looking at our community and going, I don't want to join these crazy people. And to be quite honest, we're actually starting to look like the very thing that Scientology tells people is out here in the real world, which keeps people from getting out. So today I have brought in a friend of mine, Scootermom. She's from Toronto. She does some protesting in the Toronto area, and she is starting to do some content on her channel. And so we're going to discuss what we've seen and how we think things are going, and maybe what we can do to bring it back to that place that we all want to be in and we all want to be involved with. So with no more waiting, Scootermom, I'm bringing you on. Get ready. Hello, Scootermom. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
Doing great, doing great. So, in what I said in the beginning of this, what are your thoughts on that? What are you seeing as a protester and a creator now?
Um, well, not so much as a creator because I'm only just getting started there,
Right,
but as a protester, as someone who's in the chats quite a bit,
right.
I just see a lot of bickering and it's unnecessary. And
Mm-hmm.
people coming in and demanding to have everyone listen to their view and only their view. And it's just a mess. It's like we have lived on this earth long enough that everyone should understand we all have opinions. They're not all going to be the same. And that's what makes life good.
Mhm.
We don't all need to be simulated robots. I don't know what to
The
call it.
center of attention, I think,
Yeah.
is kind of what we run into. We see a lot of people who want to be the center of attention, and um, it's not about them. It's about the people that are stuck in Scientology. That's what SPTV is about, and people coming in and guys, we're gonna do our best to avoid name calling in this. We may slip, but we're gonna do our best. People know who we're talking about, and if you look at, if you start feeling like, hey, I do that, hey, they're talking about me, then realize that quite possibly we are. You know, um, and it's not about being the most popular or being. I mean, that's high school stuff. You know, the cliques and the people that are groupies of certain people. It's not about that, guys. It's about stopping Scientology and getting the people out. Your
And
thoughts on
keeping
that?
people from going in.
Yes, yes, agreed. Um, it's basically, sorry, I've got to throw something away. It's basically helping people. And that's really what all of us started out as wanting to do. And all of us still want to do is help people. You think that's about right?
Yeah, that's exactly it. That's why I got into this.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah.
And the people that I know
Hmm.
that I've been out protesting with,
Uh-huh.
that's the whole reason that any of us got into it. I
Hmm.
don't really care
Hmm.
if I have like a lot of subs or a lot of views. I
Hmm.
mean, yeah, sure, it's nice to it's kind of a little pat on the back, but really, I'm recording for my safety and the safety of the people around me.
Right.
Live streaming is the best way to do that for me.
Hmm. Hmm.
But frankly, at 61 years old, it's a very uncomfortable thing for me to go out
Uh-huh.
there and turn on a camera all the time and then try to remember, oh, yeah, I have to talk to the people in my chat and I have to keep an eye on what's going on in there. I'm like, this is a whole new thing for me
Right.
still.
Right. Yeah, it's actually the protesting part of it is very new to me. I've gone once. I'm one of those who does not like to go by myself. I worry about it. I mean, downtown Austin is not the best place in the world, and as Pearl Snappy pointed out, that area is not the best area of Austin. So there's a lot of petty crime there, and I don't feel comfortable doing it by myself. Not to mention having people who are antagonistic show up in my chat stream and say things that totally derail what I'm doing. You
Yeah.
know, um,
I've been
um,
very lucky. Everyone that's shown up in my chat to date
mhm,
has
mhm,
been very respectful and cool. And that's what I want to continue.
right,
Um, I do have mods just in case,
right,
but that's not something that they have had to deal with in my chat
mhm,
up to this point. But I
mhm,
make it very clear to people when I'm talking to them in other chats, if they mention wanting to come watch my stream, but being concerned about, you know, certain behavior going on, I tell them very clearly, I'm not about letting that kind of stuff go on.
mhm,
And the people that I have made mods also know that
mhm.
because they
Yes,
know who I am. And
right,
that's an extension of me. That's an extension of my house.
right,
And anybody that comes to my house in real life knows it's my house.
mhm,
So it's my rules. And if
mhm.
you can't behave yourself, you're going to be asked to leave. And the
Right.
same thing goes for my chat.
Yes, that's a very good idea. And here's the thing, when you're a creator or a streamer, You have a goal. You have a topic. We don't ever, those of us who do this, don't ever go into these streams without having thought about, really thought about what we want to say, thought about the discussion, the topic itself, and how to go there. And to have somebody come in and basically move the furniture in your living room, that's not okay.
Yeah.
You know? So, hello, Cricket Cinema. Good to see you. I want to say hello to May the Force be with you. Viv Ross is here. Clearwater Chad is here. Of course, Pup Groomer is graciously modding for us. Jennifer Marie Joyce, hello. Kind of going through who we've got in here. We had a very early chat in here from Rika. If you're still here, Rika, hello, welcome. And the thing that's happening here, guys, is that we're trying to promote a lot of the small channels, and I need to bring up Scootermom's channel. Let me get that done so I can find her. But anyway, please tell me I've got you on this one. We are doing a lot of thought about what we are needing to say and what we see in, y'all don't mind me looking at the wrong place. I'm looking at my other monitor over here so that I can pull up Scootermom's. Scootermom, while I'm doing this, why don't you give us a little background on what your background is, what got you involved, how did you discover all of this?
Well, okay, let's see. I grew up with my father educating me about the civil rights movement.
Awesome.
I grew up in the 60s. Well, I mean, I was born in the 60s. Let's
Same here.
put it that way.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a big thing that was still happening when I was a very little girl. So for as long as he was with me, he made sure that I was getting an education about it. And he sparked a desire in me to care and try to do things in whatever way I was able to help support human rights.
Yes.
So, I mean, that's large encompassing area, but that's always been something that I have looked towards helping.
Right.
I have done many jobs. I'm not listing them. But
I don't blame you.
I also have done 2 sets of 2 terms on the board of directors at a community center. So
Awesome.
I have some understanding, at least in Ontario, of how charities work and
Awesome.
the requirements that they have. So I also come from that standpoint, having some knowledge there. And I've always been an activist, mostly because of my dad. I marched before we had cell phones, and before most of us thought to have any kind of camera with us. I was out marching for a couple of different causes.
Right.
And that was when I was healthy and able to actually march. And
we all get old.
yeah, and some other stuff. But even, I guess, okay, so moving into my knowledge of Scientology, I had heard a little bit about Scientology when Anonymous was out protesting. Yes. I did not pay a lot of attention to it at the time because I had children I needed to deal with who were teenagers at that point.
Yes.
So my focus was on that and working. But I was aware that it was happening, and I feel as though I knew something about Scientology at that point, but I'm not exactly sure from what. But I am a news TV junkie, so like Dateline 2020, all of that stuff is always set up on my recordings. So it could have been from something like that, 60 Minutes, all of that.
Right.
And I guess fast forward to, I'm not sure if it was, I think it was before Leah Remini started the TV show. I was starting to hear more again. And then when she left, I was aware of it, and I went, "Oh, well, that's good. I'm glad." And then when her book came out, I grabbed it and I read it.
Good book.
So yeah, so it's just been an increasing focus in my mind, and then it was probably one of my daughters that showed me YouTube.
Into the dragon.
And I started finding various channels of people who had left. I call them survivors. And it's just, and then when people started going live, that was like, oh, wow, now I can really, see some more up-to-date stuff. So it's just gone on. When I found out people were protesting, I had to watch that. And then when I found out there was an org here in Toronto and that Kimmy Mack was out there protesting, I watched her out there protesting. I went, oh, I know exactly where that is. I recognized the area and said, well, that's not far from me. I can get there. So I started making plans to go out and protest, and here we are.
Here we are. Yeah, it's DJ's joining us. Let me bring him on stage as soon as DJ, do me a favor, give me a thumbs up when you're ready. You're ready. Awesome. Okay, DJ, I had planned for 2 co-hosts, so he's here to help me do that. DJ is a very deep thinker. We've done a couple of lives together and a couple of pre-recorded, and he is a very amazing person that is.
Oh, thank you.
And he is sort of part of our European contingent. So it is very late or very early in the morning for him. And he has graciously just woken himself up and come along. So everybody say hi to DJ. Anyway, so DJ, we've kind of gone over a little bit about, what we're talking about. And Scooter is basically just gave us her history on how she got involved. So thank you, Pup Grimmer, for putting that up there. Also, if you would, for DJ's channel, he is growing now. And we're really happy to have him. Hi, Windy City Phaeton. Thank you for joining us. So, DJ, I don't know if you heard any of what came before, but
no, I just jumped in when I saw the clock.
I figured that was the case. But what do you think about how we can get back, or what you've seen as the progression from where we were a year ago or a year and a half ago to where we are today, and how you see things going on in the community?
That's a very, 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 very wide question. But,
it is very wide.
But I see fractures in one way. That's what we've discussed the other time.
Right, the collateral damage video.
Yes. And I've seen that many has in one way or another had a look at it. I mean, that's amazing also that people have also commented. I mean, the most of the comments has been very interesting.
Yes, they have been very
So
supportive.
yes, now to
You,
move forward, that's the problem. I think
mhm,
uh, I see many hurt egos. I see many hurt people. I see
yeah, I agree.
many broken hearts, basically.
Hmm.
And I'm just wondering how many people will try to learn from this instead of sometimes. That's a very individual path to go, which way you handle things like
Hmm.
this. Also, I
Hmm.
think so.
Yeah.
That can also have its effect on how you deal
Hmm.
with it, because many times people forget that we each have our own traumas. I mean, even if some of us are never ins or stuff like that, it still means that
Hmm.
we have been through things in our life, and this is not a competition in who's got it worse. It simply means that everyone has their own backpack to wear. Either you like it or not, you still carry your own luggage with you.
Yes.
So
Yes.
that's my introductory thoughts anyway.
Yeah. So, how did you get involved in the anti Scientology movement, DJ? Out of curiosity.
Well, the first time I brushed with it was in my teens, early
Hmm.
teens, when my mother dated a guy that had escaped the Sea Org in Copenhagen, actually.
Wow.
So I was given a book of astronomy where he was trying to find more facts about these OT things that
Hmm.
didn't make sense.
Hmm.
So that gave me kind of heads up very early, and then from that, I always been aware of. I think I've always been a little bit of a critical thinker in one way or another,
Right.
and parts of it has to do with my own growing up, also, as you know. So anyway, then lately, in these late years now, it kind of came back to me, and I think very much came from watching the Johnny Depp Amber Heard trials and stuff.
Oh, okay.
And Popcorn Planet was really my way into this, because from Popcorn Planet I kind of got also, if you like this, will you watch? And then Aaron, which I'm
Hmm.
very grateful, showed up,
Hmm.
and from there I thought, well, this is something I really am interested for, and the more I get to know, the more I get to learn, the more I want to learn, and the more I feel like, oh, I want to do something, and this is part
Yes.
of me doing something.
Yes. Yes.
So that's basically the.
Yeah. So, have you seen Scooter Mom and I were talking about the fractures and some of the things we've seen in some of the chats that I mean, I know you mod some channels. And some of the chats we see some disruptive behavior. We don't want to name names, but
Some
that
others will.
create yeah, um, that create issues. Have you seen a lot of that as you've done the work that you've done in both your your channel and in modding other channels?
Well, thankfully, I haven't been any of those more, what you could call more,
Heated?
well, more heated channels. So, I mean, I'm still learning a lot. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I've had some terrific help from you and from the Cultology twins, which, if you haven't watched what they do, they are
Yes.
kick ass and awesome. Also, not to forget Mandy. Also, I mean, well, I
Yeah.
have this whole, but those are the primary ones I've learned
Mm-hmm.
from. And just not to throw out names, I mean, those most, as I'm not modding any one of those that are most closely involved in
Right.
this. That
Right.
also means I'm a bit, so I'm more in the periphery. And
Mm-hmm.
also, that's why you and me can have more this from the side look, because we are not drawn into the
Yes.
mayhem in the same way. But still, it's
Somewhat. Yeah.
like we spoke before, like we three sit at one table at the school diner and we don't like what we see.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a good analogy. I mean, I mod for one of the second gens. That's
Yeah.
one of my the ones that I mod for, and I see in that person's chat not as badly as you see it as watching it in Nora's or Aaron's or some of the others. But in the one that I mod in, we had an incident not very long ago where it did get hot, and there was a lot of stuff, and it got derailed. The topic itself got derailed, and then it just blew up, and that was very difficult. Scooter, did you see that particular? You know which one I'm talking about?
I do, and I did.
Okay.
Yeah,
And what are you
it was
on that way?
crazy. The chat, well, the chat that I saw on the replay before it all went down, it was insanity, absolute insanity.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was. I mean, we were in that particular one. We were timing people out left and right after they ignored warnings from us saying, "No, let's stay calm and courteous and kind." And that's the thing that we need. Hi, Brian. That's the thing that we need to put forward is that you can have an opinion and you can state your opinion but if you're courteous and kind and generally want to have a discussion about it, then bring it forward as something that is not contentious.
Yep.
Be polite.
I don't have a problem with someone having a different opinion from me. I have a problem with people who barge in and expect everyone to have the same opinion as them, and then get rude and insulting if they're told, no, yours is not the only opinion.
Yes. And that's really difficult. DJ, you want to chime in?
Well, I've been throwing out so many of these usual expressions, like, but one thing that really comes to mind is this is not the one size fits all outfit. This is a very individual and organic movement, and that means everyone needs their own space, their own way to do things.
Right.
It's one thing if you find people who have the same likes and dislikes as you have, that's fine. But that doesn't mean that we don't share the same end goal, hopefully. That's why we keep talking about this blinders or tunnel vision and everything.
Right.
I mean, as always, what are the motivating factors for people to join in, really? Are you in for honest reasons? That's the question I really want people to think about. Are you here really to help, or do you have ulterior motives? Because that is a question you really have to state. Because to be honest and genuine, that's the key to everything you do. I mean, I'm not expecting to be everyone's cup of tea. That would be
Nor am I.
impossible. As one says, if you bow down to everyone, that means someone has to see your backside.
Yeah. I hadn't thought of it that way, but yeah, I mean, and that's never a really pretty picture in many cases, But yeah, I mean, I too, differences of opinion is what makes the world go round. Differences of approaching things is how life works. And some people like the Jerry Springer-esque type stuff, that they want to see all of this stuff going on, and some people want to learn something from what they. I'm one of those. I don't watch shows like Jerry Springer and Oprah and stuff like that. Things that don't teach me something. I'm a big fan of when I watch a show, and I rarely watch television, but one of the interesting things that I find in the stuff that I watch on YouTube is that it always is something that teaches me something. And I learn something from every single stream, every single video that I watch. And when there's so much strife going on in, say, the chat or between even two people that are in a stream, I lose the ability to learn something because you get so wrapped up in the drama.
Yeah.
Would you agree?
I do. I mean, if everybody's shouting, nobody hears a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and also, I mean, it's so easy to be distracted. It's so easy to lose focus. I mean, as I see one of these comments, we can't,
Which one?
like Janelle's comments here is having a logical, unified position against a chaotically unpredictable enemy like Church Scientology doesn't really work effectively either. That's a key, and that is why we have to each have our own styles and own ways. I mean, if they can focus on one way to fight us, and that's all they need to do,
Mm-hmm.
then it's a
Yep.
very simple front for them. I mean, the more fronts you open up against one enemy, the harder it gets for that enemy to focus. I mean,
Yes.
I'm not a soldier per se. I've done some military training way, way back in time, but I like strategy games. I like critical thinking. So in many ways, I see it as battle plans, basically, because in one way, this is a war, as even Aaron said, because we have to take it at face value. These
Mm-hmm.
people are in it gung ho, full speed. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
they are really. So I mean, if you're going to go into this, then you also have to be aware of what it will do to you. I mean, this is no easy little three-wheel ride. This is
Right.
a very, very volatile situation, and you will get hurt one way or another because there will always be people who will either misunderstand you or you will misunderstand them.
Yes.
But the
Yes.
key is how to deal with what happens between you and others and how to keep the eyes on the prize. I think that's what we are most of all trying to do. At least I hope so that we're keeping the eyes on the prize and
Yeah.
accepting that everyone can't be the same.
Yes. Yes, exactly. And the problem is as things get more contentious between the people involved, things get more dangerous. And we don't need to be making things more dangerous for us as a grassroots group. We need to keep that as safe as possible because we're fighting a entity that is known to be dangerous.
Excuse
You
me.
okay?
Yeah,
It
um,
is the main
also,
way.
and you, I'm very highly manipulative, and I mean, it is basically like you're fighting a narcissist. I mean, a
yes.
narcissist has a lifelong experience. Just because you recently discover that behavior or that get affected, that doesn't mean that person hasn't been doing this for a very, very long time.
Mm-hmm.
So that means you have to learn from it, and you have to also be able to adapt.
Yes.
That's why I like the motto that the Marine has.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
As a,
it's you do have to realize that everyone has a different way of dealing with their traumas. Everyone has a different way of speaking to people, and everyone has a different, way to be reached. And so somebody yelling things at them may reach one person, but may completely turn off another.
Yeah.
Somebody walking up and having a polite, decent conversation and imparting information to a person may reach them where the person over here who doesn't hear anything unless it's screamed at them because that's what they're used to, it doesn't reach them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And we all have to realize that every way works for every person, and there's no one way to protest or to impart information. Agree?
yes, I keep getting the algebra analogy. I mean, when you do advanced algebra, then you have one, several, or none correct answers. So I mean, sometimes you have to also be able to evaluate what are you doing. Does it really work? Does it
Mm-hmm.
just because you want so much, it doesn't mean that you can will it to work. And I mean, we had an epiphany the other day when we were discussing Dianetics actually with Miss Kim,
Mm-hmm.
and one of the takebacks, maybe she should come in and talk about it, but was that
We'll bring her in at some point.
sometimes we have realized that just shout and scream at people does only isolate them more, but
Mm-hmm.
to find I always find a reasonable conversation and to be calm
Mm-hmm.
and not let yourself be provoked. I mean, that's an old truth. If an idiot invites you into its sandbox to fight, never accept because that idiot will have home turf advantage. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
that's a very simple truth to think about. I mean, always think about your own situation and always think about where you're coming from. And I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I see very many interesting comments, and
Yeah, I've started quite a few.
yeah,
So.
and one of those that people that I've talked a lot with is Lady Jane out and Indigo Twin,
Mm-hmm.
and Indigo
Yes.
Twin has very much good points to offer also.
Mm-hmm.
So I
Well,
mean,
let's take a look at some of these stars and see what you guys have to say about it. Um, so, may the force be with you. Says Good's attitude is a model in my observation. Your thoughts,
what do you say,
Scootermom? What do you
Mom?
think?
I like his attitude. I can't do what he does. I
Mm-hmm.
can't do the yelling. I mean, I
Mm-hmm.
suppose I could, but I just don't feel comfortable doing it.
Right.
But I love when he goes out there because he's got all the facts
Mm-hmm.
and he doesn't back down. But again, that is one way to protest. It
Exactly.
doesn't always have to be that way. But
Mm-hmm.
I do enjoy the way he protests. It's just
Mm-hmm.
I can't do that.
Yeah, I agree. I do sort of an in between. Um, you know. Um, so basically, then Ross asks, may the force, can you say what you meant by that? Might be missing something. I'm confused as to why Good and others continue to support the unmentionable name. Thanks.
The
Um,
thoughts, yeah.
yes, that is a very difficult question. I think it's a personal question, Viv. On it kind of goes on a personal level. Sort of, it kind of, why do you support one person over another, or why do you support a person that is in many ways, I feel, because we all know who we're talking about here, without mentioning names, we all know, um, And I find that form counterproductive in what is happening currently with that person. That person has lost sight of the original purpose and is now waging his own war on people that really are just there trying to help. Again,
Well,
y'all's thoughts.
Streets LA, first of all, is a very, very intelligent man with a
Mm-hmm.
big heart. And that means he can also, he tries in many ways, even if some people look up to him as a leader, he never really claims to be a leader, but the best leaders are those that are not looking for the leadership position, but simply lead by example.
Yeah.
And I think that's what we all
Mm-hmm.
need to remember that, I mean, he helps everyone because in one way he also shows how to behave and how to do. And if someone kind of loses their way and focus and start to hurt other people or feel like some people are countering their way of doing it, that is kind of, if we start to discuss which color of t-shirt we're going to wear, if this is a must have or not. I mean, so Street's way of doing things are simply, he might be pissed off, but he always brings receipts. He
Mm-hmm.
always keeps a cool head about what's happening and making sure that he knows what he's doing. As
Mm-hmm.
soon as you feel like you don't know 100% what you're doing, or you feel like a fish out of water,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
always take a step back and evaluate, or never be afraid of saying, you know what, I need to check this thing out before I
Mm-hmm.
continue to do this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because as long as you're genuine and honest, that's the key to everything you do.
I agree. May the force be with you. Clarifies, says, I was referring to Good's calming, even tone and his experience of being a cop auditor and what he said on an air and live about not fueling rumors or gossip. I really agree with that. Um, there's no
And
reason to add fuel to the fire of gossip.
Yeah.
also one thing he proved, I mean, he went to defense for a person that someone else might have thought, well, that person has done this and that, I won't help that person. But
Mm-hmm.
he put his personal, whatever thing he thought, he saw in this situation, this is a wrong thing to treat a person,
Mm-hmm.
and he went in to correct that wrong he saw there.
Right.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean he's taking sides for anyone in something else. You always have to kind of keep an eye on what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
And that's
Mm-hmm.
also a way to avoid any kind of conspiracy theories or to string too many things together. I mean, in this
Mm-hmm.
specific situation, he saw a wrong, he went in to fix it.
Mm-hmm.
Another time, he might say, you know what, I don't like that way of doing it because I feel that won't work.
Mm-hmm.
It's all about
Yeah.
communication and words.
I
Go ahead,
think
Scooter.
Streets. I think Streets is very good at compartmentalization. So
Mm-hmm.
he is able to separate what has been going on
Mm-hmm.
with what is going on in this moment. Deal
Mm-hmm.
with that, and that stuff I've already spoken on, so I'm not speaking on it anymore.
Yeah.
Because I did catch a late night stream
Mm-hmm.
of the darkness of
Uh
Street's car,
oh.
Yeah.
and his voice, and
We'll
it
get you.
was a,
Your internet's kind of giving you a little issue,
oh,
so.
is it? I'm sorry. Oh,
Just
Or
hang in
mine
there,
is.
okay?
Yeah,
yeah,
one of the two of us. But anyway, yeah, I agree with what you were saying on that. I'm gonna pull this one up. Pause for Andrea. I get that people have their own personalities and streaming styles. That's a very good thing. But the mudslinging and chaotic rants break my heart. everyone in this community deserves better. Yes.
That's also something to bring out your dirty laundry instead of, first of all, take a step back. I think we spoke about that earlier about the time crunch.
Yes.
When things happen live, people tend to react instead of just act.
Right.
And the big thing about that is many times, I mean, we have to remember if you have traumas or things happening in your life, and everyone has their own starting point, that also means that you can, by mistake, go into the programming or repeat things that you're used to do in certain situations. Never forget that part either. So, I mean, but step one is as soon as you feel like your emotions get the hold of you instead of your critical thinking, this is a very, very hard thing and a very personal thing to deal with. I mean, when I was younger, I was much more hot-headed.
Me as well.
Yeah.
Me too.
So, I mean, I think I have done many, many mistakes, and I will continue to do new mistakes because what was life without learning? So, I mean, in this case, also, I mean, try to think more. Does this really help? And why am I doing this really? I mean, try to think that sometimes, not just, oh, it's my ego, and that person says this about me, and that person says that about me, and if they agree with them and they agree with them, then I mean, hell,
Yeah.
we are not in a high school cafeteria now. We are a team consisting of very different kind of deployments, because to make it harder to disperse us, to make it harder to hit back at us, we have to be different, but we have also to remember to bring the best we have and not bring out the worst we have.
Yeah. Yeah. As a protester, Scootermom, as you see all of this happening with other protesters, what are your thoughts on that?
I'm actually really concerned for a lot of protesters, especially a lot of the small channels, because when you have a small channel, you don't have as much support in your chat when you go live. And so when you are seeing all the upheaval and you're getting less interaction when you're out there, some people, and I'm not naming any names because it's more than one person that I've seen it happen to, have expressed concern about having the desire to continue going out there protesting. And that part concerns me. That's the underlying cause of all the upheaval, is we have less people, boots on the ground, as some people put it, out there doing that form of protesting. I also happen to believe that people creating content online on the subject of, as I like to call it, the corporation of Scientology, is also a form of protest. And I do the same thing with those content creators that I do with streamers. If I feel that they're doing something I identify with, I'm going to watch that. And so that's why I think that, in my opinion anyway, what they're doing is just as valuable as the people who are going out and protesting, however often they may be able to do it. The other thing I wanted to say is that I've also seen, not a lot, thankfully, but I have seen a little bit of people creating content simply to put down another content creator or protester.
Yes.
And I personally do not like that. I don't have time for that. It's hard enough to watch all the channels that are out there as is.
Yes.
I don't want to waste my time watching someone just pulling clips from someone's channel to show them in the worst possible light.
Yes,
That's
I agree.
not productive.
No, it is not.
That does nothing to bring down Scientology. That is strictly pushing your ideals about someone else on other viewers.
And it's not just the ones that we immediately think of that are doing that. It is
No.
some of the bigger content creators. Some of those people that are the last people we would think would do that, but they're doing it. They're bringing out their individual arguments for the world to see, and there's no reason for that. Would you agree?
I've seen small channels and large channels do it.
Yes.
And I have no use for any of it. I agree with you.
Yeah. DJ, your thoughts?
Well, once I start, it's hard to stop. Well, I think it's a lot of it has to do with also your own personality in the as a basis. I mean, Scooter said so many good things and truths about this already. But as we keep coming back to certain truths and basic facts and acknowledgments, basic about those who are in for the drama will eventually lose. When the chewing gum loses its flavor, they will look for a new one. So I mean, it still is who's in this for what reason. That's one thing. And those people who try to just pick off those most juicy drama bits and exploit them. That's something that I find it's despicable. It's a huge difference to do things like Natalie and Rabbit does, where they comment and they bring context or simply sift out stuff that they find important to discuss or view. Because with so many creators, so many different styles, so many different wills and ways, and let's not forget also the different cultural backgrounds we have. And I mean, from growing up as I am grown up in Sweden, even that I'm a Nordic, that's the way I consider myself, to someone who's gone through the American school system or the Australian or the Indian or German. I mean, we have friends from all over the world involved in this. Never take your own truth as the only truth.
Right. I like this comment that LA2 Toronto said. Why can't we just stay in our own lanes, though? Seriously, Toronto's Scientology tribe has a bunch of different points of view, and we do it very well. Why can't we just do our own thing? Scooter, you are involved in that group. How do you see that?
I am, and that is exactly how I see it. We all know that we don't all share the exact same opinions. Some of us like certain content creators and some of us do not, and vice versa. But we all accept that and we just agree to disagree. We recognize that the reason we are out there is to protest Scientology, to bring it down, and we have each other's backs. We don't all have to be exactly of the same mindset about the little bits and pieces of the computer, let's say, the components of the computer.
Right.
I don't want to get into the nitty-gritty of all the parts, but I will just say there are certain brands that some people prefer. There are certain brands that other people prefer. That doesn't mean that either one is bad. It just means they're different.
I
That
would agree with that. And I think that is a valid point in all of this. And Indigo Twin, I'm going to go ahead and pull this one up since it's pertinent to what we're talking about now. Comment: I think they may still be learning boundaries. It's okay to share with viewers and what they can hold private. When criticism feels personal, I think it causes these stream minutes. And I would agree with that as well. DJ?
We can all feel very frustrated, and there are times when you really feel like you react, not think. I mean, let's be honest. One of the biggest tools that cults and the sects use is the time constraint and the pressure to not allow free thinking and not allow to evaluate what's going on, not look at the situation as it is. So, I mean, whenever, as I say, whenever you feel triggered or whenever you feel like it's bringing out something within you that is not good, always step back and allow yourself that grace. And I mean, it's not like you have to win every discussion. You have to be right in every discussion.
Right.
It's more about sharing knowledge. It's more about finding insights to share. I mean, as we said in another talk, never trust what we say on face value. Just because someone says 15 things and 14 are truths, that doesn't mean that the 15th have to be a truth.
Yes. Agreed. I have, let's see. We're going to pull this one up. We should all have different opinions, and we should still have the courtesy to hear opposing opinions. And I think that is very important. This world today, in general, is so divided, and they refuse to listen to anything one side says over what their opinion is. And so they never come to an agreement. You have to understand, when you're talking about opinions, it's how you perceive things. And perception is 99.9% of reality to the person who perceives it. That's literally what it is. But there is room to learn from another person's opinion. They see it differently than you do. And so they could have some very, very good points that you haven't thought of. But if you close your mind to hearing another opinion, you never learn that there might be a jewel of something that you can work with within the opposing opinions. That's my thought. Go ahead, Scooter.
Just going back to the idea of criticism and reacting to that, I think some people, and maybe it's because after all these years, I'm less reactive to someone making a suggestion to me or giving me constructive criticism, suggesting that I can do something a different way, that I don't take it as a personal insult. And I think a lot of people are still, I'm not saying I'm perfect by any means, because I can still get offended with the best of them. But I think what a lot of people are forgetting these days is that just because someone gives you a piece of constructive criticism or makes a suggestion does not mean that they are trying to hurt you or that they're trying to confine you in some way, to try to phrase that carefully. It just means that they're trying to help you in some way that you may not have thought of.
Correct.
And I think a lot of people just don't know that or forget that, or they're just so defensive that they refuse to accept it.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. I think that's very, very valid. And a lot of people go caught up in their opinion that they don't take into consideration that there are many, many different ways of completing or finishing a task. You know, I do it one way, you do it another, and DJ does it another, and we all get the task completed. It's just we approach it differently,
Yeah.
and so I think that's a very valid point. May the force be with you. I was tightrope walking toxicity and avoiding, but still seeing the negativity slung for the sake of destruction. That seemed obscure and unprovoked. DJ?
I can only agree with that, but still, also you always have a personal choice. Do you want to have a mob mentality, or do
Mhm.
you have your individual critical mind, or and be open-minded about, does this make sense,
Mhm.
and always evaluate from whom, why, to whom, and who benefits.
Yes, agreed. Scooter, what do you think?
I 100% agree with "May the Force be with you," and by the way, may the Force be with you too. Um, no, I just see it as so incredibly unproductive to do
Mhm.
things like that.
Mhm.
Um, I'm trying to
Yeah.
watch my language too, so
Yeah.
I'm stopping myself.
I hear you. I hear you. Sometimes it's not easy for me either. Trust me.
Me neither. We all like
You
to
know,
drop these F bombs, but
oh God.
we are trying to be polite. We're not in a
Yeah.
Sunday school
Yeah.
anyway. We are
Yeah.
not.
Yes. I mean, again, yeah, like DJ said, we're not in Sunday school, so if we drop the occasional dirty word or seven dirty
Yeah.
words, as George Carlin would say, um, you
I mean,
know,
I like those words, but I do try to keep them to a minimum. I
yeah,
know some people do not appreciate them, and I've
agreed.
kind of been trained that way. So
Agreed. May the force be with you continues. Um, it was one thing to see the trolls, which repeated dumb comments, and then creators becoming attackers on other streams. And that is baffling. It seems nefarious. Scooter, your thoughts?
I mean, I can think of examples immediately of instances like that, and I just think that is incredibly rude.
Mm, yes.
It's the analogy that we started with. You're barging into someone's house and demanding that they rearrange their furniture. I
Yes.
mean, how dare you? If you don't like what someone is saying and you have a channel or you want to set up a channel so that you can say what you want to say, have at it on your own channel. You should never be barging into someone else's stream in their
Agreed.
chat, demanding to be heard and monopolizing the chat. Like that's so rude.
DJ?
Yeah, and I mean, basically, Scooter said it all. And
Yeah, I agree.
I mean,
It's just rude.
I think we need to remind people that we like to say, or I live to repeat sayings. I mean, I
Yeah.
usually say I vote with my feet.
Mm-hmm.
If
Yeah.
I don't like the place where I am at, how I'm
Agreed.
being treated, how people treat each other, then I move to somewhere else where I feel
I
much
go
more at
see.
home.
Exactly.
I mean, we each have to find our own comfort zone,
No. Yes.
even that we do extend ourselves outside our comfort zones to
Mm-hmm.
avoid this confirmation bubble that is so easy to adapt. To
Yeah.
always have the one ear on the ground and one finger in the air to kind of have a sense what's going on or
Yeah.
what's coming is
Yeah.
important.
With me, there are so many channels that are involved in this. I mean, last count was what, 215 was last I saw, something
Wow.
like that. I think. I don't know. I'd have to really go to Fluffer Squirrel and find out if I really wanted to know the exact numbers. I'm guessing, but it's right around there. And you don't have to watch all of them. It's not a requirement to watch every channel that is talking about the Scientology war. Okay, watch the ones you like. If you don't like it, if you're not comfortable, go to the next one. I can remember a particular person. Again, I'm not going to say his name, but it was the early antagonist, the one that everybody really disliked. I can remember I was kind of, led that way to go check him out. I was there 2.5 minutes and realized that he was not for me. And I moved on.
Yep.
I didn't comment. I didn't, get nasty. I just said, I'm not a fan of Howard Stern. So I moved on.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really what it is. And you as viewers have that ability, have the, like DJ said, vote with your feet. So vote with your eyes. If you don't like what you're seeing, don't watch it.
And
There's
keep
so
in
many channels
mind,
that are-
when you choose to unsubscribe from a channel and YouTube still brings it up as a suggestion, there is a box where you can tell YouTube, do not suggest this to me anymore.
Right.
Because I've done that, and recently. So I know it's there.
Yes.
And then it doesn't bring it up to me anymore. So if you don't want to see it, if you find it triggering, then by all means, make sure YouTube knows, do not show me this stuff
agreed.
anymore.
I'm going to toss this up because we need to remember that these things do matter. Kids cannot consent, and accountability matters.
That's something we should keep in our targets and our sights. This is what we work for, really. I mean, the way I see it, I want to defend those who couldn't be defended. I want to help those who haven't been helped. And I want to kind of help people to not get sucked into this.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone listening, everyone watching, you have an awesome power, even if you think you're the only one. But what you choose to do, how you choose to digest everything that you hear and see, that's something very personal. So, I mean, that also means something in the long run. And I mean, that is why it's so important to do your homework. To
Agreed.
to understand. I mean, the more experiences, I mean, I'm a never in. I'm one who could have been in certain ways because of choice or no choice. I mean, some of us get dragged in screaming, some of us get forced in either way we want or not. Others go in by curiosity.
Oops,
and I mean,
it moved right as I did it.
and
I
also,
wanted to do this because of what Scooter said. That this also is an option. If you remove the channel using that option, you can also clear it from your watch history to make it even less likely to pop up in your suggestions again. So
thank you,
I wanted to add that onto what Scooter had just said. So
yeah, even that's a pretty drastic thing. But if someone really rubbed you that wrong way, or you really feel this person isn't serious and honest enough and simply not worthy your time and your support, then this kind of purge can be necessary.
And choosing what channels you watch, you're telling YouTube that this does not turn me on. There's a whole set of people who that kind of Jerry Springer-esque stuff, they would like it. That's what they're here for. They want to see the train wreck, and find out if somebody died. Okay,
Yeah.
that's the only reason they're here. If you're not that person, then don't watch it. Tell YouTube, I don't want to watch it. Unsubscribe, whatever you need to do. But that tells YouTube what is people like. And that keeps us from that gives us a way to no longer feed into this destructive cycle that
Yeah.
we see currently.
And
And
don't forget
also,
the down thumb is also engagement as far as
Right.
YouTube is concerned. So
Mhm.
I don't even click that. I
I don't
just
either.
back the heck out.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Windy City Phaeton a while back had a great comment here that I would like to look at. So you want to see free speech? Let's see you acknowledge a man whose words make your blood boil, who's standing center stage and advocating at the top of his lungs that which you would. And he continues, I believe somewhere. I can't find it. But anyway, um,
just look for it. I mean, when
yeah,
you see he's a very, very compassionate and he's a prime example of a man that keeps the eyes on the prize
Yeah.
mm-hmm,
and thinks how he can help others. I mean, he
yeah.
is,
I'm looking for the rest of it. I
yeah,
have to go
you do that.
way up.
But still, I mean, these kind
There
of
it is.
people, and I mean, I shout out to Matt also at MD Media 18. I mean, that's
Mm-hmm.
another guy that I've never seen do anything aggressive. Yeah, I mean, you have to be able to. I mean, people tend to forget
Mm-hmm.
while we are active, while we are protesting. I'm not boots on the ground in the same sense because the closest place for me is at least 2 hours away.
Right.
With my current situation, I can't get there.
Right.
That's a fact. But I can help others. So
Mm-hmm.
we also represent the movements as such. It's not like we have to wear a uniform because we are not in the Sea Org,
Right.
thankfully. But
Right.
we still have a responsibility because action speaks louder than words many times. So, I mean,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
if
Mm-hmm.
you're out for getting attention, which some people are, for
Mm-hmm.
these people, any reactions, any energy, be it positive or negative, as long as it's energy, they feed of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
Mm-hmm.
we have to value our own personal energy to put it where it matters most.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm going to show the continuation. As we said prior to, he continues, spend a lifetime opposing at the top of yours, American president.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
great comment there, Windy City Phaeton. Thank you. Really, really great comment. Here's a thought, and I truly agree with this. Viv Ross. Maybe a lesson for us is not to support protesters who are verbally abusive to police and scientists. That's the lesson for me. I was uncomfortable with it from the beginning, but doubted myself. And I think that even moves on to not supporting people who are creating this dissension within the community. What are y'all's thoughts?
Well, okay. So I definitely am not there for being verbally abusive to anyone. Sometimes the cops do need to be talked back to, but I think there's a way to do it that I'm sorry, I'm losing my words apparently. Words are hard, as my daughter says.
Gotcha.
There's a way to do it that's not so antagonistic, maybe is what I'm trying to
Confrontational.
find.
Yeah.
The cops are going to be who the cops are going to be. If they're coming at you with a bad attitude, yeah, you can push back a little bit, but don't push it so far that you end up looking worse than the cops. That's
Yes.
my opinion.
Yes.
I know that other people like to behave that way, and that's up to them. I'm not. I'm firmly in the camp of alohatology. You do you, boo.
Yeah, me too.
Me as well.
I that's not something I'm comfortable with doing, and also not to bring this into it, but as a person of color, that's something I always have to keep in the back of my mind. Even in Canada, we have cops like that too.
Yes.
So that's not a line that I feel I can cross. You know,
Yeah.
I don't want to use the P word, but there are some people who are more able to get away with doing that, is how I'll phrase it.
Right.
So yeah, that's not something I like to watch either. It's because I get uncomfortable even just watching it, because I know I can't get away with it.
Yes.
But if you appreciate that and you want to watch that, I don't have a problem with you watching it.
Just don't bring it into somebody else's stream who doesn't get into that.
Exactly.
Yeah. I agree.
Don't tell me to go up against the cops and start yelling in their faces, because I'm not doing it.
Exactly.
I mean, first of all, why bring out the worst you have in yourself? That's one thing. Too many people tend to bring out the worst they have very easily. Second of all, if it's a dance, you always have the right to accept or to bow out.
Yes.
So, I mean, you have to pick your fights. So you have to consider.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, that's true. There will be people taking advantage of the movement. It's truly sad to see. There will always be opportunists. I mean, you know, I like to throw in a joke or two, like the pessimist was saying the half is half empty. The optimist was saying the glass is half full. The opportunist says, "Thanks, guys, for the drink."
So we're going to continue with Indigo Twin. It's easier for people who have been indoctrinated to fall victim to other manipulators. It's very hard to trust yourself and your instinct when you are trained not to.
Yeah.
Very much so. And that kind of goes a little further in, okay, so you're looking at people who have been indoctrinated badly, who have been told that the people out here in the real world are mean and evil and won't help you and will do things to hurt you. So having to break that indoctrination, you have to be not fighting with each other, because those people who are indoctrinated are watching this, and we all know they are, and they're watching how we are interacting with each other. And they're using that as that's the example they have been told would happen to them if they left.
I mean, if when fighting a monster, it's very important to not become the monster yourself.
Agreed.
Why would anyone trust someone who is attacking someone who is, for instance, a survivor of Scientology, to help them to get away from Scientology?
Agreed.
That brings to mind the old saying, if I want to know the one person's character, I want to go out and eat with this person, because the way that people treats the serving personnel and everyone around them will also show later many times how they will treat you.
Yes, agreed. So Viv Ross says dangerous instigation of drama is their main worry. Viv, I'm sorry.
I agree.
I'm sorry. And I agree. That is one of the things that I really, really worry about. So we're going to move to Windy City Phaeton Watch. Polite connects with some, but belligerent might reach others. The symphony has piccolos and tubas.
And drums.
And drums. Great comment.
Tim, MD Media just made a comment. It's all the way at the bottom.
Heading there.
I would really like it if you would bring that one up, because I have seen that
right
so
now.
often.
I'm in the start, so I have to actually kind of
Sorry.
wander through. So, but
And
that's
I can't
fine.
spell it for you.
I am heading down there. There's a lot of comments that I'm, oh goodness.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we have really intelligent people who follow each of us. And I think that's a testament to them.
Is that the one you're talking about?
Yes, it is. Thank you.
All right.
That they recognize that we're not about the drama, and they support us not being about the drama. But anyway, please. I love this comment.
Chat tries to control the streamer. In my opinion, some like to try to get them to do things you might not want to. But at the end of the day, it is on the streamer that what's right.
Yeah. 100%.
Yes.
And to add that, always remember, the one talking bad things about others to you will most probably talk bad things to others about you.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. I like this comment as well. LA to Toronto, RTO. We have a responsibility to keep our egos out of this. My God, yes. This
I've
is
seen
not
I've seen so many wise comments from so many very profound people here in this chat, and I mean, I'm just grateful for everything I'm learning from all of you, because
it is. I mean, the thing we all have to realize, those of us that are never ends, especially, this is not about us.
Yeah.
No, definitely. We are just like the sideshow, because the main target is get that tax exemption away, bleed that organization dry, make the people to wake up. But that's just one part of it. The other part has to be, once you get these people out, to deprogram them. And that can be a lifelong challenge for many. People just think, just because you're out of the door, that doesn't mean you're out of it.
Yeah.
Because it gets hold of you very fast. Because
agreed. And I mean, we're going to throw a name out here because everybody says the same thing. Mike Rinder. Mike Rinder is a perfect example of exactly that. He left the cult at least decades ago, but the cult is still in him. And we can see that by some of his actions that he has done. And as much as, I have no true dislike or hate for that. I just don't like how he is doing it. And that's my prerogative. There's some people out there who like what he's doing, and that's their prerogative. Me personally, Mike Rinder's actions to me are very, very much the same that he used within the cult.
Yeah.
I mean, same goes to Leah. I mean, she's a spokesperson and everything, but many times people forget that in some instances she will return to her own old programming, because that's what she's been trained to do. And I mean, the way I consider people is like, let's look at Reese. She's compassionate in one sense of the word. She's been out roughly 1 year and a few months more, and I mean, she's still finding her way. She has a very good guide in Tommy, as example. We have like Liz Ferris, who's been out a few years. We have Nora, who's been out
3 years.
Long time. Yeah.
Yeah. Nora's been out for a decade.
Yeah. So I mean, everyone had their personal journey to do, but never ever put anyone on a pedestal. Always remember, no one is without fault, and everyone has the right to make mistakes,
Hmm.
but it's how you
Yeah.
come back from make mistakes.
Right.
It's how you own up to your mistakes. It's
Right.
how you learn from them.
Hmm.
Yeah.
That's part what I want to bring to this.
Yes. So may the fourth be with you says, I think the style of a protester is the least of what's going on. It's it's a layer on top of the protesting that erupted, and that lava is not going back into the volcano. But we should cool it. And I would agree with this statement a lot.
Yeah.
I don't think once the genie's out of the bottle, you're not putting it back in.
No way.
Yeah.
Okay. So there is going to be people who have issues and will say things, but if we can just back it off 3 or 4 notches, and show some grace to some of these people who may have done something that a majority of people find repugnant, give them some grace.
Yeah.
None of us are perfect. Agreed.
Yeah, and I also, but then there's a distinction. If these people keep doubling down
Mm,
and just repeat, and show that they are in one sense unreasonable, or
hmm.
they are still in need of help,
Yes.
then perhaps they are not in the proper environment, so to speak.
Yeah.
Perhaps.
I
Yeah.
I
um
personally have a problem when someone violates my trust to a large degree. I have a
mhm.
problem giving them the opening to do that
Do it
again.
again.
So I can give someone grace and say, okay, maybe that was a moment in time and
Mhm.
it won't happen again, but I guard myself around that person from that point on.
Yes. And it kind of depends on if like DJ says, if they keep doubling down on it.
Yeah.
Um, if they continue to have bad behavior, um, then it's not just an incident, it's a pattern.
Yeah.
And that is not that's not cool. I'm gonna bring this one up, and I do agree with this. Um, I believe we're talking about Scotty on this one. Um,
Yeah,
and
I think because I
yeah,
recognize those
so
comments.
um, it says he's a professional protester. A war against people are calling him fat and a meth head. Calling people names like that is not okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's also reacting and not acting and
correct.
Yeah.
thinking.
You're letting your ego or your anger or a a part of you say these things because you've been hurt in some way. And so you're reacting, well, oh yeah, well, you're fat and a meth head, you
Yeah.
know?
None
Or
of it's
Um,
good.
sometimes when people feel like they're being played or manipulated or tricked into situations that they feel uncomfortable with everyone has their different way of handling. I mean, that's when it comes to fight, flight, or fawn.
mhm, mhm,
We all have our different ways of dealing with
correct.
pressure and stressful situations.
Yes. Okay. Let's move over here. Where am I at? There I am. Janelle H. Most people are a mixed bag. Good traits, irritating traits. The balance hits differently when you get to know a person. And
Yeah.
agree. Yes. Everybody has things that they aren't proud of, things that they do. I mean, I can. I am much more tempered now that I'm in my 60s than I was when I was in my 30s.
Yep.
Um, I would I was a typical redhead Texan Taurus, Scotch Irish English German. Um, you know,
Perfect combination, the
oh
perfect storm.
yes, and
Sorry, I have to move a little bit for my back.
oh, I've been you see me kind of twitching around myself.
Yeah,
So, but yes, I would say things that just immediately, boom, it was out. I have learned with age to, I get upset or I get hurt or whatever, to stop. And that I think is the the lesson is stop and really think about what you're about to say. Because once you say it, you can't take it back.
You can
So,
apologize till the sun goes down, but it
correct.
does not take away those words or
Exactly.
the feelings that they created.
Correct.
Trust takes a lifetime to build that, but it's very, very easy to lose. And I mean,
Mhm.
I want to give everyone an honest chance, but once I seen someone starting to hurt other people, I really kind of, that's really not my kind of person.
Mhm.
I can't help it because bullying, hurting people, or simply trying to tackle people into their way of doing things,
Mhm.
that has never been my way of doing things.
Mhm.
And I'll be damned if I ever let myself do that. I mean,
Right. Right.
that's why I always have loved your call sign, so to say.
Oh hell no.
Yeah.
This one's interesting, and I do want to kind of cover this. It says, I'm not that comfortable hearing people called out anonymously. It doesn't feel transparent, in my opinion. Part of the reason that I am trying to push this anonymously, especially in this stream and on the streams that I do, is that the one thing I don't want to do is say something that I have to apologize for to a particular person. A lot of people know who I'm talking about. There's no question. But
Yes.
keeping it anonymous doesn't, I mean, allows me to say what I think and doesn't make it a personal thing. Okay. So I'm not being personal. What I'm saying is this is the type of behavior that I think is destructive.
We also don't want to single out a certain person because that means basically that we are drawn into one camp either way we want or not. But
Mm-hmm.
we can say we see this kind of behavior, we can see this kind of behavior. Then, after all, people have to be able to connect the dots themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Our purpose is not to be kind of pages for someone else
Mm-hmm.
to run between the high lords fighting. I mean, I'm a tiny little channel. I mean, if people like what I say, fine. If you don't, fine. I mean, I only offer what I know, and everything is seen through my experience and my filters.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean,
And
so I mean, I see the finger pointing as it is that's too much of gossip, and then we're back to the school diner again.
Right.
I mean,
I
we try to bring in the voice of reason, and that means we can focus on this person does this person does this, because that is a person has an antagonistic personality or feels like they are under pressure or feels like people are gunning for them. Of course, they're going to go on a defensive mode, and that means if you feel hurt, you try to hurt back many times.
Mm-hmm.
We are simply just human beings.
Yeah.
What
Go
were
ahead,
you going to
Scooter.
say, Scootermom?
let me just say this, Cricket Cinema. While yes, a lot of what we're saying is obviously regarding one individual, but there's certain behavior that I have seen come out of both sides of
Mm-hmm.
this issue that I'm not okay with. So I'm not necessarily, yes, in certain instances, yes, I am talking about one particular individual, but
Mm-hmm.
in general, I'm talking about not just one individual. When I'm saying this is what I have seen, it may be that I'm talking about people going into other people's chats. It may be, um, you know, creating a stream and talking about other people.
Mm-hmm.
It could be any of that or more.
Mm-hmm.
The yelling and the screaming, I've seen it on both sides.
Yes, I have too.
So I'm okay with keeping it anonymous because I'm not trying to finger point at all, because when you do this, yeah, you're pointing at one person, but you've got other fingers pointing back at yourself, and I'm certainly not perfect.
Mm-mm.
So I'm not trying to call any particular individuals out, because I would first have to call myself out.
Correct.
And also, we are trying to avoid these tit for tats, or, well, he said, she said, they did, they did. I mean, that's what the title of this is. Can we just stop? Because basically, we are trying to, as let's see what he said, pump the brakes. Cold water Dusty, and I mean Dusty Soda of now the name just. But anyway, but still, I mean, that's also sometimes I see people kind of get this little, they get focused. Some people tend to get caught in these small details, and we miss out the whole picture. And I mean, in that case, to me, it doesn't matter who started it. To me, it doesn't matter why it's going on. To me, I'm more interested, why is it going on? Why can't we stop this? Or how do I do to stop this? Because when I feel it's counterproductive, when it hurts what we others are trying to do, then we have to own up to it, take accountability, and also do my best.
Indigo Twin has a great comment here. Having trauma is an explanation, not an excuse for how you act. Accountability goes two ways. I can hold someone accountable, but they can return that to me if I need it. Yes, agreed. That is a very good comment. Also, LA to TO, you know, we all have a role in this, regardless of whether we can be boots on the ground. One is to be out there. The other is to be in here. Support in chat helps. Agreed. Those people who cannot, like DJ, who's 2 hours away from, the way he supports is to be here. And it does not negate the fact that he is not standing in front of an org yelling and screaming or doing whatever. He is doing what he can. I kind of do the same way, although I'm closer to an org. My support is within the chats and doing the work in the background. You don't have to be, excuse me, you don't have to be a boots on the ground protester to be effective in this movement. It's not a requirement, and I think we all need to remember that.
It's not like we are collecting Eagle Scout patches or brownie points.
Correct. So I'm kind of looking at, hey Dusty, good to see you.
He always makes great points, and I mean, they should not make too much fun of you, because you're a great guy.
You are, and you take it very well. And this is the thing. When you look at people, different personalities, Dusty's a great example of someone who, you know, rolls with the punches and doesn't take what is said personally. And I think we all need to kind of do the same. Roll with the punches. Somebody says something to you that you don't agree with. Okay, you can answer to it. But, you know, is it really necessary to do that? Is it something you can kind of go, whatever, and move on? And that's kind of how Dusty lives. Dusty reminds me of one of those California surfer guys, you know, in the movies that you see. Love him to death, Dusty. Dusty, you are an amazing person. Absolutely adore you.
And then again, we each have a role to fill, and sometimes in different contexts we do different roles. I mean, it's like sometimes we make fun of George, sometimes we make fun of Barbara. But then again, sometimes we do that out of love also. But that's kind of a positive thing. That's not like to drill down on the person's bad things. It's more like
Lucy. Sorry, LA in TO and I are Lucy and Ethel when we're out there, and in chat often, because when we're together, we just naturally end up being funny, apparently. I mean, we make each other laugh, but apparently we make our chats laugh too. I'm
Right.
okay with that. It makes it more fun. It makes the time go by too.
Agreed.
So that's kind of the protesting I prefer to do. But yeah, if you're having fun and you're not hurting anyone else, then I'm all for that.
Right.
Me too. Me too. I mean, and that's also why me and Sin many times remind each other that we need one of the best tools to bring down authorities or authority, these oppressive forms of authorities and cults. That's humor and music. That's
Yes.
why we made those song ideas. I haven't written a few for a while because it's been so much else going on, but I'll return to the writing, I promise you. But
Yeah.
still, I mean, I wish I could see some people start to take up on that. Or it would be just fun to hear someone sing some of those texts because I feel, especially your version of Another Brick in the Wall, it's so down on point. I simply love it.
Thank you. Thank you so much. You did some great ones too. We're gonna try to start wrapping this up, guys, but because we're heading to 2 hours, and I really didn't think it was gonna go that long, but it's been a very great, and I've absolutely loved y'all's comments. They have been spot on, and I really like them. Discussing behavior can be a learning opportunity. Discussing of a person feels like gossiping, which is rarely useful, and I would have to agree with that. I'm gonna kind of kind of run through some of the ones that I have now real quick.
But I think that that comment from Janelle is basically just hitting the head off the nail because that is kind of what we're trying to do.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
doesn't help an individual to be singled out.
No.
It doesn't stop that kind of behavior just by pointing at one person because then people will just see this person as this behavior or one and the same thing. It's not. We try to single out the behavior and try people to react on the behavior. So maybe if we are lucky, we can get rid of the behavior without losing this person, and maybe this person can learn something from it.
Agreed. We have a great comment here. Words have power. Say what you mean and say it with intention. Great comment here. I believe 100% that. It's just really. I mean, it's right on the nail on the head. It's sort of like what Susie Oberholtz says, and this is one of DJ's favorite sayings, so I'll let him say it.
Each voice raises the volume.
So, and that is 100% true.
Yep.
This one, I am so with you. May the force be with you. I am
too.
so with
Me
you
too.
on this one. I miss the days of game nights before several smear campaigns and fair gaming was targeting the ex-Scientology folks. And understandably, we rooted it to Mike Render, Stephanie Hutchinson, to distract from his crime.
Yeah.
And I miss those days too. And that's what I'd like to get back to, is the days where we actually had fun, but we learned things. That is literally what this stream is about, is let's take 5 or 6 steps back and revisit those times.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to regroup. Don't be, as long as we keep the momentum. That's one thing, but that doesn't mean we have to throw ourselves over the cliff's edge.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
LA to Toronto. Style of protesting also has a lot to do with the environment where they're protesting. We have a goal, and Toronto is completely different than LA. Trust us to know the best avenue.
Yeah.
Agreed. LA is different from Texas, is different from Toronto, is different from Boston, is different from Florida, as Dusty will tell you, is different from Stockholm.
Oh, yeah.
London.
Just look at the difference between how Chicago police treats people to how they do in Salt Lake City in Utah, as an example. It's
Yeah.
not that far
Yeah.
in between as such, but it's like worlds apart. And that's also something we need to focus on, how to disarm the safe pointing. We need to have people with analytical minds helping us drill down. I mean, like Fat Grammy or Mona,
Mm-hmm.
she's a genius on many parts of that, and I mean, she deserves a shout out also for all the her
Yeah.
hard work.
Yes.
And then
Um,
don't be afraid to bring your own point of view, but remember, every point of view is personal, and always evaluate it. Does
yes.
it sound true? Does it sound genuine? Is this something you can accept? If
Mm-hmm.
not, what can you take with you from it? Is there anything to take home, or just
Yeah.
leave it?
Exactly. It is definitely the way to look at it. Everybody has their own way. Every environment reacts in a different way. Every environment, every state, every city, every country, um, their way of acting and accepting things is different. And so you have to consider where you are.
Yeah.
So great comment.
And not
I
only that, even if you're at one area, I
mhm,
mean, you always have to keep the enemy on the toes. Never just get them used to one way.
mhm,
You always have to have something in your back pocket. I mean, it's like if you play cards or poker, I mean,
mhm,
you don't throw out everything you have at
right,
once. I mean,
right.
you should always have something in reserve.
Mhm.
I mean,
It's a
that's
massive
why
game of chess, is what it is.
that
Here's
too.
Dusty's pump the brakes comment. Love it, Dusty.
Yeah.
Great thing. Pup, if I can get you, there's some great small channels that are here in the chat. If I can get you to kind of um, promote
I
them
think
real
she's
quick.
doing it.
You've been
He's done awesome work. Just look at the list.
Mhm.
I do have the pages for my two for DJ and Scooter ready to show, so I can show you guys where they are. Um, one of the things I do want to, as we wrap this up, one of the things I do want to say is, guys, all you small channels, as you visit some of these small channels, DJ and then Scootermom literally taught me something the other night on how to share in your community tabs other people's videos. So do that to help promote these small channels. We are in a um, ability or a difficult spot where we have to do content that's original so that these ones that are now monetized don't get demonetized. We can't do where they stream to all of them anymore, very very lightly. So take these videos, put them in your community tabs, just share them around. um, Great way to promote the small channels. The other thing is I do want to mention this. I have created a Discord for small channels. It's an invite only Discord. So if you have a small channel, reach out to myself, DJ, Scooter, or Pup Groomer, and we can get you the invite link to it. And the whole idea behind it is this Discord is so that we can all get together and plan and collaborate to help all of us out so that all of our channels grow. That's the goal behind it. So trust me, the prior to doing this live stream, the three of us got together and actually discussed the whole thing in that Discord. There are meeting rooms that you can do that in. So please, if you are a small channel, reach out to one of us and we will get you that invite link. I'm gonna
And don't
go ahead.
forget the Ordinary Safe Space Discord also,
Yes,
where you
there's
find all those funny song texts. I really want to promote them.
yeah, yeah, a collab Discord. So the other thing is we do have the Safe Space Discord. That is also a closed invite only Discord. It is for notifications, and we get in there and we have fun and do things. I call it Liz's channel, but I actually own that one as well. The only rules is literally don't be a jerk.
Don't
Okay.
be a Robin. Let's
I'm not
borrow
sure
from Marilyn.
jerk was
Don't.
the word that I heard.
Well, it started out beginning with an A and ending with an E. So,
Well, I could use Marilyn's expression. Don't be a Rodney. I think
yeah,
it's so
exactly.
cute.
Yeah.
So, Pup is putting up the small channels right now. Thank you so much, Pup, for doing that. I'm going to go ahead and do a screen share to show you the other channels that I am. Hang on, give me a minute. I'll get there. We're going to
Pup's
share
been
this
doing
guy.
great tonight, by the way.
Awesome. This is Scootermom's channel. Let me pull that comment
I like
down.
that squirrel.
This is Scootermom's channel. Please go like and subscribe. She has been protesting in Toronto, Canada, and is beginning to do content outside of protesting. So please
I
do.
make no promises on how often.
Well, we'll get you on here every so often. I'm sure Pup will do the same thing. And Dusty, make sure you get her an invite for your next Dusty's Corner. Okay. And the other one, this is DJ Nico. He lives in, I believe, Switzerland, correct?
No.
Reading.
That's the SP chef.
The other S one, the other country. But anyway,
Sweden.
it's there. And he
Yeah.
does a very eclectic set of stuff. He goes from poetry to DJing to having serious talks like this, song parody writing, does a lot of stuff. DJ, if you want to add into that.
Well, I like gaming. What I've done this far is I've done some practice runs, and I will do more of that later. But most important is I also mod in a few channels.
Correct.
I try to be kind of support those I can. And right now I've been setting some focus about Scientology up north and Eldon Hub cult.
I need to go back to wrong one.
Yeah.
Hang on, I'll get to it.
Yeah. So if you haven't, please check them out. I mean, even that also connects to what you said about how local things can work differently. Right now, if we could bring down Scientology in Denmark, that would be a very, very serious blow for them.
Yes.
But also I saw today when she was in Helsinki and had a look, and basically it was just little cellar. It was almost like a speakeasy. That was all there was, and there was no sign of life, basically. So I mean, that made me feel good because I'm born in Finland, obviously.
Right.
But so if you can support Eldon Hub and Scientology up north too, same goes for those in England and United Kingdom, basically, because those are like
those are just as important as any of the North American.
Yeah, and don't forget Perth in Australia either.
Yeah.
And so then I don't know that much about the Asian part as that, but who can keep track of everything? That's the thing. And also I would give you a shout out to Fluffer Squirrel, her page, the sptv.space.
I'm getting to it. This is my channel. Oh, hell no. If you're here, you probably found me. Please do like and subscribe. And also, we encourage you to put comments on the bottom. We'd like to hear what you think of what we are talking about and your thoughts and your opinions on the subject that we have. So please do like, comment, and subscribe. I am going over here. There's a reason. This is sptv.space. This is a great place to find out who's online, who is streaming at the time. But there's a great thing up here in the top under resources, I do believe. Down here it says free flyers. This is Pup Groomer's flyers that she does. Let me see if I can get to it here real quick. We'll go there. She has a drop box that allows you to literally, I think I'm just at your page, Pup, and I'm trying to find, there it is, trying to find the Dropbox. Let's get there. She has a whole set of flyers, and let me kill that, and so forth, that you can actually print and use wherever you are. And she is currently working on having these flyers translated into different language so they can be used in different areas. So this is a huge project that she's done, and she has made available to all of us to use. But if you look at this, there are some awesome flyers that she's done. She's got business cards. She has all kinds of stuff. So please make use of this, and you can get to it through either Pup Groomer's page or website, or you can get to it through sptv.space. So this is a great resource for everybody to use.
While we're at
So,
it, I can also add that I will try to help translate to Finnish and Swedish, but there are many other languages. So if you feel like you want to have in your, let's say in Greek or German or Russian or Hungarian, if you have those skills, get hold of Pup Groomer, because the more we can spread these, I mean, these are strokes of genius. Each are masterpieces.
yes, incredible work. And she has done an amazing job modding tonight. I want to thank you, Pup Groomer, and I definitely wanted to promote this particular service that you have provided for us. It is invaluable, and we do appreciate it.
Very much.
Anyway,
Yeah.
so like I said, we're going to kind of wrap this up now. Anybody have any closing thoughts, just out of, just for
I
anything?
personally just want to thank everyone who took the time to come and watch us and to interact with us. And that includes anyone on the replay crew. We want your comments. I am not terribly comfortable being on camera, which is why when I stream, I am the disembodied voice. But I feel some people trying to pull me along, Sin. I don't know who.
Kicking and screaming. Don't feel bad when you DJ, just ask him.
Well, you should know my path into this. I mean, just a short thing. I used to do community radio. That was completely different stuff as a hobby. I mean, then it was just your voice. But I mean,
Yeah.
you're always your worst critic yourself. But I
Yeah.
mean, you do an awesome job. I mean,
Yes, you do.
I wish I could follow all you people much more than I do, but there's only so much time, and real life tend to come in between. I saw some comments for Lady Jane out, and simply just anyone who feels I could do something, do it, and don't be afraid of ask of tips and tricks, because this is not the one man show. It's not like there's no
It's all
cool
of us.
kids. This is no cool kids table. We are all cool kids if we choose to be.
Yep.
Yes, exactly. And it does, to bring down an entity as big and as powerful. And Scientology is nowhere near as powerful as it used to be. But to bring down something like, it doesn't take a person, it doesn't take a village, it takes an army. And that's what we are. Never ends, second gens, Scientology survivors, all of us are protesters, all of us are that army. And if we continue to work together towards a common goal, we will win.
Yep.
Eyes on the prize, people.
Eyes on the prize. Again, thank you for being here. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Make sure you subscribe to all of our channels, and we will get back and do another one of these sometime soon. Had a great time with both of you. Scootermom, great guest. Thank you for being here. DJ, great hosting job. And I am.
I did too much. I didn't need to.
I tend to take over. I apologize, but
No. I liked it as it is because the most important is this isn't about me. This isn't about you. This is about what we can do for these people who have no one defending them.
exactly. So remember, kids can't consent, and save Bob Ferris. Let's get that. Save.
That's good.
I don't remember what Laura's father's first name in, but last name Anderson.
Yeah.
Save them. Save everybody that's in there. Let's get these people out. Let's shut down this entity. This child trafficking, tax evading entity.
And let's stop the supply of fresh meats as they. I mean,
Correct.
just even the fact that they call people fresh meat.
Bill
They call
Anderson.
yeah, Phil Anderson is his
Bill
name.
Anderson,
So
thank you.
yes,
Thank you so much.
and they call themselves body routers. I mean, just that mindset alone makes it worth combating it and stopping it. I
Agreed.
mean, we are individuals, we are people, we are humans. Let's
Agreed.
never let them rob us of our humanity.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Well, okay, we're at 2 hours. We're gonna go ahead and end this. I'm sure Dusty probably wants to do something tonight, and I know Pup has something she's got going tonight. So y'all, thank you for being here. Thanks for being our guests, and we certainly enjoyed having you with us.
It has been a pleasure.
Alrighty. Awesome.